pursuit of a championship which involves equal, easy-to-control machinery, the C-Sim Briggs One Make Series was formed by series manager Shadon Racing Team's own team captain SDRT Wazadon, also known as Donald Campbell, from a local boy from Newcastle. And commencing in April 2021, the 8 drivers, the series has expanded over its inaugural season with a consistency full grid of Toyota GT86's Group 4 models and 3 foundation teams. As we see on the stream, we see the likes of Shadon's racing team for the SDRT, the newly created team, Caviar Racing Team led by Chef Toddy, and the Intercontinental Esports Racing Group. 8 rounds has seen good quality racing amongst the drivers for all teams, but out of all the solid racing and set in the C-Sim Briggs One Make Championship, the man leading the charge is SDRT Wiseacre, who has a 606 point lead, whilst his nearest rival and good friend in the team championship, his team boss SDRT Wazadon, the founder of C-Sim Briggs One Make GT86 Championship, who is on 584 points, a mere 22 points separating the pair, but with double points on offer and a huge 320 points, it's anyone's game for line honours and to be called champion. In the constructors, it is the newly formed Caviar Racing Team led by the chef himself, Chef Toddy, with teammate Agile Jason Ford ST88 on 1,024 points, followed closely by the Shadon Racing Team, which has 2 stables, the Shadon Racing Team Red Bull Racing, led by Wiseacre and Deno 8 on 1,018 points, and followed closely behind by the Shadon Dominoes Racing on 816. So big points are on offer tonight. So anybody could either take overall drivers and teams constructors. But a slim lead in both teams and championship. So a slim lead in both drivers and teams championship, to which has all but blustered the hype surrounding the event. The C-Sim Briggs Bottle 300. As we see right on screen now, our championship leader for the final round, it is SDRT Wiseacre, coming towards the end of the cutting and looking to make his way through the top of the hill as he comes around just under the Fujitsu sign, coming up through Solomon Park as he approaches the grade, coming down towards clipping that curb on the inside before he heads up towards McPhillamy. So as he gets the rise up to the top, it is up to McPhillamy and in through to Brocky's Skyline as he comes narrowing down, plucking through the gears, 4th through to 3rd, through to 2nd, and just coasting the car around the dipper as he exits his way out of the dipper and swiveling through to the final corner. Oh, it's not a final corner, the final corner of the downhill section, which is going to be Forest Elbow as he leads through to the Conrod Straight. Apologise. SDRT Matster is actually leading the way in first position, which in the Shadon Racing Team, the newest recruitment to the Shadon Racing Team group, SDRT Matster, a Kiwi who has also made his debut in the Trackstars Racing Series, Formula 2 Championship, and even in the Trackstars TS2 division. So we've seen great racing from Matster in our series, but apparently he's been showing great form and great pace around this track as he's coming down towards Conrod Straight, as he's plucking all the way up into 6 gears. 6 gears, the only maximum on this car, so he'll be looking to hit about 250, 260 towards the end of the chase. As he's coming down, plucking through, yes, around about 258 there, as he's entering the chase on to the last couple of corners before he hits Murray's Corner. Oh, he's had a bit of a half spin there, so that's his lap ruins there. So as we look right behind, I do believe right behind him is In Accession, so we'll have to wait and see what time he can get. And Mazda still getting out of shape there as he's coming across the line, and he's going to set himself a 2-minute 12.5417 with In Accession right in front of him on a 2-minute 12.4. So he also made a mistake in that lap as well. So not really seeing much competitive times as of yet, but the fuel level is quite high, and it's all about just drivers getting their car prepared for what could be the crucial moment in qualifying, where the top 5 will be secured, a top guarantee in the top 5 shootout later, just after qualifying. As we see a late fill-in, the SLM, the Kazi one, filling in for Mountain Go, the GOAT himself, Mountain Go, 15 years of age, filling in is Kazi, and he's doing a great job so far in third place, and in the cars that I would say suit his driving and suit the way that he drives. But I guess in no means like anyone can be favoured for this race. Even a guy like you see, we see new faces as well. DJSX Pointed could be a favourite to win the race tonight, and it could be even a Wiseacre show, as we've seen through Wiseacre throughout the whole C-Sim Riggs One Make GT86 Championship, where he's actually just dominated. He's just taking a whopping 8 victories with 9 podiums, with the second in the victory list has been Mad Mullick. So it's great. It's crazy how things have been going, but for SDRT Wiseacre, he's putting on a great show as he's coming up towards the final corner, and hopefully he's going to set up a great lap time. No, he doesn't, so he actually pits in, and he's going to put himself a new fresh boot of tyres. But I'm not too sure. I'm not so sure if how long the qualifying is though. So I'm not too sure how long qualifying is, as we see DJSX Pointed across the line in third place and securing himself in the top 5 in the shootout to come. Dan 08 is the newest member to the team that was introduced in 2020 during the COVID hit era in the Track Stars Racing Series. Shadon Racing Team was born in the COVID hit era, where they made their name present in the Track Stars Formula 2 series, in the brand new series that was the Track Stars Formula 2, where 2 drivers, likely Wiseacre, also known to you today as SDRT Wiseacre, and Wazadon, SDRT Wazadon, both made their debuts, and only thinking of making it a two-car team for the Track Stars. They've turned themselves into a big team right now, recruiting drivers such as Dan 08, as he's just run a little bit wide there, and he's got a little bit hampered there by Benjo 19 from the ISI Racing Group. And yeah, so they managed to recruit some drivers in Dan 08. Chef Toddy was a part-time Shadon Racing Team driver. He still drives for the Shadon car in the Track Stars TS2 and Formula 2s, but we've got also the recruited drivers such as Mountain Goat, as we said, is not here. Dan 08 puts himself up into 5th place there as well. So whether he is listening in the background, but joining me in the commentary box, as always, as we always know in the Track Stars Racing Series, it is the one and only, and who is the driver that is providing the stream for us here tonight. It is Mr. Jarman. It's Racing. Good evening. Maybe not today. Fair enough. Alright, so he did say to me he was having a bit of food, so I will have to give him a proper reintroduction when he comes back. So, but as we see Chef Toddy coming through with the penalty, that he's gonna come into the pits. No, he doesn't actually. So as he's coming towards the line, he's gonna not set a representative time, but hopefully for him, it might be. As we see K-Boy 33 as well, looks like he's making his debut as well in the the C-Sim Rig One Make GT86 series, where I'm not so sure he hasn't actually made his debut, I don't believe. Looking in the championship, no he hasn't, so it is his first race. K-Boy 33, a name that we have seen in events such as the Pit Lane Esports Group 3 series that was last year, where he and his mate put a team in, and K-Boy is known to be driving in the wheel-to-wheel racing community. So wheel-to-wheel and Shadon Racing Team do actually have a team in that league as well. I believe it was Wiseacre at the time doing the GT86 series as well, but I not too sure if that was a one-off or whether he's going to be part of that series. We see K-Boy come across the line. Is he going to improve his time? Is he going to get himself towards the top 5? No, he doesn't. So he stays in 7th place. He's moved up places, but he hasn't moved up far enough. So we've got to look down. Wiseacre, this is the man that we need to be keeping an eye on. Wiseacre coming towards the dipper, and he's just going to come around towards Forest Albert, but he's down in 11th place, and the championship leader and double points at stake. It's gonna be all or nothing for Wiseacre for these next few minutes. I believe it's going to be, I think it is a 15-minute qualifying session. I'm not too sure. But Wiseacre's in a bit of trouble here, because if it's a 2-minute, roughly about, we're looking at about a 2-minute 11, 2-minute 12 lap for the fastest drivers. I believe DJ SX Pointer says that the one driver to look out for is SDRT Mazda with the fastest time, with his fastest time being a 2-minute 10. But time will tell as we see Wiseacre negotiating the chase very nicely. Got a little bit of car on the grass there, but he's coming up towards the final corner through Murray's Corner. It looks like he's going to be able to get himself a good time from looking at the sector times from the bridge to the finish line, which is roughly, I would say, in a Group 4 car, around about 11 to 12 seconds. Maybe in these cars, about 12. As we see across the line, yes. So he's got himself into the 2-minute 11s, the first driver to be in the 2-minute 11s there. As we look down, we see a new driver, another new driver as well. Well, just cut off there, unfortunately. But Mad Mullock, another driver who has been coming through the ranks as well, and he's also second. He's second on the list when it comes to wins. He's taken 2 victories, Mad Mullock, in the Toyota 86 Group 4 One Make Series, sponsored by C-Sim Rigs. He's moved himself up into 5th place. So Chef Toddy for the Caviar Racing Team, the leader of the Caviar Racing Team, coming up towards Griffin's Bend. As he's cruising through the corner, he just got a little bit of a drift there, and yep, he doesn't look like he's set himself up, and he looks like he's going to be coming back into the pits very shortly. He has another driver making his debut for this one-off event, or this biggest event that Shadon Racing Team has created. It works. I believe it's Wox Motorsport there for the Ice R Racing Group. So a lot of drivers coming through the Ice R Racing Group, the Intercontinental Esports Racing Group. So they've recruited for this event, special event, DJSX Pointed. Looks like Wox Motorsport might be the latest recruitment for this series as well. But like I said, this is the guy that we need to be keeping an eye on. SDRT Mazda has been showing great pacing practice, but hopefully he'll be able to negotiate in accession very soon, because he looks like he just might be holding him up, or he might be using great effect of the slipstream, who knows. But he's gonna have to be far enough. It looks like Intersection has just pulled out, so great drive there from Intersection in 2nd place, pulling out of the way as Mazda actually hits the inside, and hits the inside of the Forest Albert, then the outside. So that's going to compromise him massively as he's coming down towards Conrod Straight. And it looks like Intersection is going to get himself a great tow to set himself up for his next lap. So SDRT Mazda coming towards Conrod Straight. What's his timing split coming down here? Oh, actually, no, I misread that. He's actually on his out lap. So I wonder if both of these boys are going to be on their out laps, or Intersection made a mistake on his hot lap. So they're both actually on their hot laps, as DJ SX Pointer promotes himself up into 2nd place. So that's a great drive from DJ, from the series management and the pit lane esports team manager in the Racing League series, but is actually the head owner of Pit Lane Esports, Shane Kenty, with his reliable driver and DJ SX Pointed leading the charge for Pit Lane Esports at Trackstars, and now being a guest driver for the Shadon Racing Team C-Sim Rigs One Make Series in the GT86 Toyota Group 4 model. So it looks like he just went purple there in that first sector. All it is, that first sector is just coming through negotiating Hell Corner and just getting a great run up Mountain Straight there, and he's negotiating through Sullivan Park and towards the great DJSX Pointer. Knows his track very well. He is a real life supercar race marshal on the track there, and he works a lot in the pit lane, and he works a lot with the cars and gets really nice close-up photos of the cars. He's called purple again, so a guy like DJSX Pointer, a true underdog for this event, and one to be keeping an eye on come the 300 later on this evening. And hopefully he himself can get himself up towards that top 5 championship. But so far in 2nd place, he's doing himself a great job, as he had 2 sectors in purple. This is the next most crucial sector, just that downhill section from the top of the mountain down to Conrod Straight. Can he get himself another purple lap, and can he get himself close to toppling off SDRT Wiseacre, I do apologise. Yes, he has, but he's just a mere 0.021 behind him. So this is going to be a very crucial part to the lap for DJSX Pointers. He's coming down towards the chase, braking hard, turning into that corner. Oh, he's run a little bit wide there, and DJ just has to get a little bit more turn in that he needed, and that's going to cost him a little bit of time there, but hopefully not too much, as it's coming up towards Murray's corner for the final time. Is he going to be able to topple Wiseacre, the Shade On Racing Team leader of the CSIM Rigs Championship? Is DJ going to take top position? He has done, only by a mere few seconds there. 2 minute 11.5, I believe that is. So he's 0.6. I apologise, and he's set himself a great stepping stone. What about this guy? SDRT Mazda coming around the final corner for the final time. This is the guy with his pace. Can he topple off DJSX Pointed on the top of the ladder? No, he actually goes down to third place. So we've got ourselves a handy grid here. What about Wazadon here? What can he do? We didn't get to see his lap time. He's actually on an out lap, so we won't be able to get a representative time from him. But so far, leading the way is the ISAR Racing Group's newest recruitment for the CSIM Rigs Bathurst 300, sponsored by Botolo. DJ SX Pointed in first, SDRT Wiseacre in second, Intercession in third place. I believe SDRT Mazda was in fourth, and SDRT Wazadon. So 3 out of the 5 in the top 5 are all from the Shade On Racing Team camp. But can Dan 08 say anything about that? Oh, he's just got a little bit wiggly there, and he's just ruined that lap. It looks like he's just backed off a little bit, and he's just going to be warming up his tyres as he gets himself ready towards the start of his final lap. We'll keep an eye on his progress very shortly. I'm not so sure I'm not so sure how long this qualifying session is going for, but I believe we might be coming up to the last 3 minutes. I believe it's a 20-minute qualifying session, but time will tell, and Wazadon or Wiseacre will let us know of how far progression is going. But looking at Wazadon there, it looks like he's done, and I believe he thinks that qualifying is over. But we'll have to wait for the team leader, either Wazadon or Wiseacre, to let us know. But looking at Dano, if it's still qualifying, Dano's got himself a great first sector there, fastest of anybody by 0.001 of a second there, as he's coming up towards the top half of the track, coming through the cutting and making that famous journey all the way up to the top, down to the bottom of Forest Elbow. As he's coming to negotiate Solomon Corner, looks like that's basically a flat out corner in these Group 4 Toyota 86s. So these cars are very light in the car, and there's a lot of power in these little box, basically like a little pocket rocket, you could say, in a way. But Dan 08 is coming towards Brocky Skyline. He's not fastest, but he's improved his time by 0.49, so that would probably promote him, wouldn't even actually promote him up to 6th place, because 0.4 in the gap between him and Mad Malik is 0.686. So Dano's going to need a last good couple of seconds here at the Bathurst 1000 track. So I do believe we are joined now by It's Racing. Can you confirm?
Did you catch me there?
No, I didn't. Now I've got you.
Yep, no problems. Glad to be joining you here tonight. Looks like it should be a very interesting race, and definitely going to be a big challenge for these drivers across 300 kilometres, that's for sure.
And as we see Dano coming up towards the Murray's corner, so it looks like they said it's 3 more minutes, and Dan 08 is coming towards the final corner and towards the pit straight. Can he get himself into the top 5? I don't believe so, no. He just improves by 0.001 of a second on his best, so definitely not enough for Dan 08 to be in the top 5 shooter. But I do believe Dan 08 is going to be making his way through. We see Matt Malik looks like he's gone purple there in that sector there, but he's actually 0.52 up, so he's actually going to be, if he improves his lap time, he'll be ahead of Wazadon and possibly in a session coming up towards Forest Elbow.
Certainly looking like he's on a good run here at the moment. Obviously he's jumped up the 5th because I think someone must have jumped out of the qualifying session by the looks of things, but obviously the gap between himself, Mad Malik and Wazadon is one we're going to have to watch out for here, and he's gone nearly a second quicker, so he's looking very good to jump into the top 5 here.
And as I did say, Mazda was going to be the guy to look out for. He's actually improved his time to a 2-minute 11 flat, so that's great pace from Mazda. But Mad Malik is coming towards the final corners of this track. If he's going to negotiate Murray's corner perfectly, he should get himself up right in line with possibly Wazadon and even DJSX pointed up into the next place. But he's run wide and he's got a little bit of his car on the dirt there. Will that compromise his time? It doesn't, and it promotes him ahead of SDRT Wazadon. So that was a great gutsy lap there by Mad Malik there. So hopefully, or roughly, there might be about a minute to go, ladies and gentlemen, for the qualifying session. But I do believe there are some drivers jumping out and they believe it's done. So they might be wrapping it up. But it looks like, yes, I do see drivers actually jumping out. Mazda, one of them. Wiseacre was one of them as well. So these times that these drivers are putting on is not their actual positions. So I believe, like I said, it was SDRT Mazda in first place with DJ in second place and Wiseacre in third.
Actually, just word through from race control, this will be the final lap of qualifying session, so these guys do still have one more flying lap to get themselves inside this top 5.
As we see Wox negotiating at the top part of the Mount Panorama, the famous Mount Panorama here at Bathurst in Australia. We were lucky to call it our own home in Australia, but unfortunately at the moment with the Bathurst 1000 being pushed forwards, Jarman, it's not keeping the traditions of running it in its October period.
No, it's sort of gone back to the usual time slot it had back when we had the Super Touring versus V8 Supercar Bathurst 1000 wars, so it's sort of back to a semi-traditional time slot, but definitely not quite the traditional one we're used to. And of course, before all that split happened, it was the October long weekend that hosted the Bathurst 1000, but absolutely. When I think it got vacated for the Sydney Olympics or something like that, and I believe that the rugby actually took the rugby league grand final snuck in there and took its place.
I think it was the AFL was always first, and then the NRL grand final was always on the next lap. But here we go, Wox Motorsport coming towards the final corner. Can he improve his time? Can he move up towards the grid? He does improve his time, but not enough to be ahead of Dan 08. So it looks like Wox Motorsport might be 7th overall. I would think so. I don't think there are any drivers coming through. Chef Toddy looks like he's improved his time, but not enough to be in the top 5. We see SLM Kaziwan replacing the GOAT, Mountain Goat himself. I would think roughly maybe might be about 9th to 10th. I think these drivers are just calling it their qualifying, and that's it for them. And we will have our top 5 shootout sorted out very shortly. As we look down towards the back end of the grid, I wonder if you might be able to pull up the live timing there, Jarman, so we might be able to see. So let's have a look. 9th place SDRT Mazda, not in 9th place, but on top in the provisional pole position with a 2-minute 11 flat. We're followed by, I believe it is DJ. No, it is actually going to be SDRT Wiseacre, 2-minute 11.246, with DJ in a session in 3rd place with a 2-minute 11.5, DJSX Pointer with a 2-minute 11.6, and I would believe the next driver, who is the driver with the 2-minute 12 or a 2-minute 11, 2-minute 12.
Got Mad Malik with a 2:11.8, so he's the 5th car.
There we go. So Mad Malik, his lap time did relegate Wazadon down the grid. So I believe if we're looking at that, I believe racing team drivers, 2 Caviar racing team drivers, and 1 Ice R driver in the top 5 there. So that's a nice little combination of teams there. And like I did say earlier in the broadcast, they are the 3 foundation teams of this series, and it's good to see at least 1 driver from each team in that top 5 shootout. So I believe these drivers are getting a little bit of extra lap time. They should know that their qualifying is over, and yep, so basically they're just probably getting some extra mileage before Wiseacre and Wazadon say, you boys need to jump. Start our top 5 shootout very soon.
I believe Dano parked on the side of the road, so I think he's just now following instructions to head back to the pits, just judging by the 4 minute and 10 second lap time he's done at the moment.
Exactly. I think the only time you would get at least that kind of lap time would if you put yourself in a Samba bus or something like that. You get yourself a 4 minute, right now 4 minute 20 or something like that. So he's probably setting the time of a Samba bus lap.
Or the revival of the Mercedes wagon from about 1896 in the game.
Yeah, exactly. Right, I'm just gonna jump off the stream quickly. I'm just a little bit of a delay on the stream, so I'll just be back in 1 second. So just give me 1 second. I'll jump back in.
No problems.
There we go. That's better. A little bit worried.
My end, it was the cars were just like, at least the stream on my end was a little bit laggy, and I thought, oh, it must have just been an issue there, but I think it's just a simple disconnect and then rejoin. Always works. It always works with internet as well. You know, get bad internet, just unplug the thing and just plug it back in. And
as we look at Wox Motorsport, he's going to actually take us, hopefully he might be able to take us for an onboard lap here around Mount Panorama. So maybe Jarman, you might be able to commentate the lap for Wox Motorsport if he gets to complete the full lap.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to actually complete it, but yeah, heading into a hell corner here and down in the second gear. Try and hug that curb if possible and get a nice exit out of the corner, and then up through the gears, position yourself well down Mountain Straight. I know I usually try and keep myself left as much as possible just to reduce the amount of climbing up the hill with the camber in the road, and then into what's normally known as Griffiths Bend. And yeah, you can get yourself caught out very easily there, and then coming into the cutting, so it's a bit of a sweeping left-hander, and then it tightens up a bit to then come through Reed Park. Although I get a bit confused with the names here, I'm probably not as much of an Australian as most other people, but I think that was Solomon Park back there.
That was Solomon Park, and now they're coming up
to McPhillamy.
Yeah, so they're coming up towards McPhillamy and towards the famous Brocky skyline through the S as he goes, and just plucking down the gears. This is where you want to really roll the car, not apply really too much brake pedal, but you want to kick the momentum off the car of the same team as he executes the dipper very nicely there, as well as Wox Motorsport Cummings negotiates the downhill section very nicely, and he just got a little bit too deep there, and he's coming up towards Forest Albert. He's just tagged the wall there, so something you don't want when it comes to the race. You don't want to go in too fast, because that'll compromise your run towards Conrod Straight.
Yeah, as he just receives a word here that he has to go into the pit, so we probably won't get the full lap from him, but
I wonder if Wiseacre's watching the stream and he's thinking, oh, why not? Just let it do the lap.
oh no, he's done a reset.
Ah, okay. He's a party pooper. That's alright, but yeah, like we said, we're about to get ourselves ready for the top 5. For the top 5 shootout is first up. It is going to be Mad Mullock from the Caviar Racing Team in his striking green Toyota 86. They're getting themselves ready. Got Mad Mullock, DJSX Pointed in accession in third, Wiseacre in second, and SDRT Madster, who's possibly looking to be the favourite when it comes to pole position but I guess time will tell, and the one lap, it really matters around this track, as we see a bit of a pit lane glitch there, unfortunately. So some technical difficulties. I do believe there was some technical difficulties before the stream started, so they've got maybe just obviously just changing the time of day and then changing it back usually resets it. But yeah.
I have a feeling that, I'm not sure, are they actually going to run this as a 8 o'clock time of day race, or are they going to a later time?
I would believe it would be that 12 o'clock setting, that's what I would think, but I'm not so sure. Wait and see, and whether they just say, well, whether they change it now or whether they keep it at this time slot. I'm not too sure. Yep, so it looks like Weizsäcker is given the old clear, and they are going to be running right now for the top 5 shootout, where it is Mad Malik for the Caviar Racing Team leading out the first of the charges of the top 5 in the sim, in the S and the C Sim rigged one make championship, which is the Toyota GT86 Group 4 model, where it is Mad Malik, the Caviar Racing Team, leading the way and going to get himself underway and hopefully get himself up towards the front end of the grid, where tyre strategy and the
Fuel and tyres will become a big thing. Mad Malik is just getting himself along the top of the hill, just probably to warm up his tyres. But I guess in a way you don't want to really
warm up these tyres. These tyres are already, well, the car, you can set the car flat out around here, and then your tyres will be fine for the hot lap. So the Mad Malik is just about trying to think about his brake references when it comes to the top end. How flat can he go when it comes coming through the cutting and through Reed Park and up all the way up to McPhillamy. I wonder if you can keep that car flat as possible without taking too much compromise in the brake pedal too much. He's coming down towards Forest Elbow to start to ready to begin his lap within the next 40 seconds.
Yeah, of course, you come out the pits and the tyres are already up to temperature on this game, so not really much point in weaving your tyres around, as all you're going to do is just wear them out a bit faster. That's probably more the case. So I did notice he's very hard on the rev limiters through the gears, so maybe that's a bit of a tactic to burn some extra fuel and make the car a bit lighter for this lap.
Exactly. But here we go. First of the run, it's here, Mad Malik for the Caviar Racing Team, rounding up Murray's Corner for the first time, and he's going to be coming around there roughly in about that 2-minute 11, 2-minute 12 range, but we'll wait and see what Malik can do as he starts his lap. So coming up towards Health Corner, braking deep from 5th gear to 2nd gear, just hugging that inside corner. Don't take too much exit strip, because you want that fastest exit coming onto Mountain Straight as he leads up towards the mountain on the hill on this cloudy day, cloudy morning here at Bathurst. We've got Mad Malik coming up towards Mountain Straight in his first sector times. It looks like it's going to be 21 flat, 0.32, so probably not one of the fastest first sectors, but obviously time will tell, and it is basically a one corner sector.
Yeah, I might just remind myself here, I'm going to quickly jot down some split times as well while we're going along, just so we've got a bit of a reference.
Yeah, good call. Good call, commentator. We don't have the technology, so we just got to use the old-fashioned pen and paper. As you see, Mad Malik coming up towards the top end of the track. He's executing the gate. He got really close towards the wall there, and that's a near perfect line there for Mad Malik as he runs just a little bit too wide. Didn't clip the apex in the McPhillamy. Coming through Brocky's S's as he's coming down, pluck it into 3rd gear. Does he hit 2nd gear? Nope. Oh, he does actually, coming towards the end of the dipper there, but short shifts back up to 3rd. So that might cost a little bit. Helps for turn in, but I guess the higher gears in these cars through the fast corners are needed just to keep that just to keep the horsepower up in this car, because it is a very lackluster car in horsepower, but it provides great close racing, as we've seen from those 8 rounds that the Shadon Racing Team have put on here in the C-Sim Rigs One Make Championship. As we see Mad Mully coming towards the chase, and his first sector time was, I believe that was a 1 minute 30 something, I wasn't too sure.
141.118.
There you go. So coming out of the exit of the chase and coming up towards Murray's Corner for the last time. He's going to set the initial benchmark for this Bathurst 300 coming towards the final corner, sponsored by Bottle C-Sim Rig. As we see Mad Mully for Caviar Racing Team. What is his lap time? What's his benchmark? It is a 2 minute 12.6. So that's a great first. So that's actually not a bad first lap there for the first driver out. So it's a great lap, and obviously with sort of a full tank, it's actually quite a representative time.
Yeah, obviously the tanks are a bit fuller this time, so a bit of a heavier car, so probably find lap times are a bit slower to start with. So trying to think who will be up next. I think it might be...
It was DJ.
Okay,
DJ
yep.
Next. So DJ, I believe, is the next one in line. So we'll be waiting shortly for DJ to make his move. But
well, if Manster could get himself a 2 minute 11, in 2 minute 11 flat with just basically half a tank, for Mad Mully a 2 minute 12, it's with almost a full tank. You could say it's not a bad time.
Definitely a pretty good time there.
Exactly, and it is DJ SX Pointer from the ISAR Racing Group, going to be second out with the newest recruit to the ISAR Racing Group for this special event here we're bringing you tonight, live and free on the YouTube. So if you do wish to be involved in this series, the best person you would want to contact would be SDRT Wasdon and SDRT Wiseacre from the Shadon Racing Team. If you, any driver out there that wants to compete in a Toyota 86 and just have a bit of fun and maybe put yourselves in this position where you could be in the top 5 shootout and you have all of Bathurst to yourself. So luckily for DJ, for his first race in the Toyota 86, he's got the whole track to himself, and I don't know if he's got much pressure on him because he's not really a championship contender, but he'll be looking to put on a great show and maybe even get himself a podium.
Yeah, he's certainly looking very strong here amongst the first qualifying session, and then of course he's gotten himself up into the top 5, and this might be a perfect dress rehearsal for our series later on in the year where there will be a top 6 shootout. Maybe he might get himself in there and have a run.
Absolutely. See DJ SX Pointer just in his first run in the ISAR Racing Group Toyota 86 there. So the ISAR, so you can see a lot of paint schemes, different paint schemes, and in a way that it looks like the Shadon Racing Team have gone for that old white and just a lot of stickers, a lot of decals on their cars, while you see the Caviar with the nice, with dark metallic colour.
Looks like they have sponsorship or the stickers of the Walkinshaw and Andretti United team, WAU, and then you look at the ISAR Racing Group. It's a bit more vibrant, a little bit more.
You know, just makes it stand out a bit.
Yeah, good point there. And yeah, of course, I did notice the WAU stickers on the Caviar team as well, and I think that might extend from the Pit Lane Esports series.
Yeah, well, I believe it is Chef Toddy. He has I think he has either a cousin or a brother or brother-in-law, one of those things, one of those family-related members. I believe he actually does work for Walkinshaw Andretti United team. He's actually part of the, I don't know what section he is, but he actually has the job title working at Walkinshaw Andretti United, and I believe he was trying to work with him to maybe get sponsorship for that team, so it would be quite interesting to see how that pans out.
Yeah, that definitely would be a cool idea. I'm not sure what's happened there, but I'm not getting any splits here for this lap, so just might quickly have a look.
Maybe have to look at the live timing there, so as we see...
Yep, he's just a bit down.
So he's actually down, so yeah, so he's just 0.1 off Matt Malik's time there as he's just executed the cutting and it's coming up towards Solomon Park and coming up towards the Great Reed Park. But it's all about keeping this car flat and just trying to keep your throttle down and not trying to let off, because this car is very low on power, but it is easy to make a mistake with how light it is as well. But it looks like DJ's just executed those corners very nicely. And coming up towards the sector, he's actually gone purple there by 0.0011. So a great second split there by DJ, just going full throttle. Oh, he almost clipped the inside at the exit of the dipper there as he's negotiating Forest Elbow for the last time. He's coming down towards Conron Straight. Does he execute the last corner, that corner perfectly? He does. As we go on board with DJSX pointing along Conron Straight, this is the next crucial sector for his lap. Can he get himself a purple lap, or will it be a sector best lap? I believe we'll have to wait and see shortly. And
it didn't pop up.
I think if it doesn't pop up, I think it's a sector best. I don't think they show when it comes to like sector best or your split.
Okay.
So coming in towards the final corner, DJSX pointer. He needs to negotiate Murray's corner for the final time. He needs a good exit. He needs to get that throttle application nice and early. But can he topple off Mad Malik, who's sitting right now in pole position? He has done by 0.3 of a second there, by 0.319. So great lap there by DJSX pointed there. 2 minute 12.985, and looked like, yes, it looked like he actually did improve he'd actually got fastest in that third sector there, without the time didn't pop up. So interesting. So here we go, another driver from the Caviar Racing team in accession, coming up towards Hell Corner and up towards Mountain Straight. So he's got third. He just qualified third in the pre top 5 shootout in you could call it Q2, and this is the Q3, which is the top 5 shootout, as he's coming towards the end of Mountain Straight up towards Griffins. He has gone purple. I apologise. But like I said, it's just a corner where you just need to have a good run out of Hell Corner. Otherwise, if you do get a really shocking exit, then yeah, of course your lap time goes down.
Yeah, it is still a very crucial one, of course. You can very easily mess it up and ruin your lap right at the start, but as he comes through Solomon Park here, down through to Great, looking very nice and tidy so far, just edging up towards that curb and hugging that corner there. Oh, it gets all out of shape coming up towards the skyline though, so that's going to be very costly towards his lap there.
He just held it, just missed the barriers there, so great save by Nick Session. But as much as it was a great showing, unfortunately that's not going to be the best lap time he's going to get.
Yeah, that's certainly right. It's very exciting, a bit like Peter Brock back in the early 90s when he did his shootout lap in the VN Commodore. It looks very exciting, but it's not fast on the time sheets.
No, absolutely not. So unfortunately, probably for the next session, he's not going to be able to get himself the front row, but he might be able to hold third place if Wiseacre or Manster have a bad lap themselves. So time will tell, but at least he'll be happy with the top 5. But just see what the gap is between him and Mad Mullen and DJSX corner as he's coming up towards Murray's corner for the final time. It is coming up and he's going to cross the line. He's going to get himself into 2 minute 12s, maybe 13. Yeah, so, actually, no, he actually a late, mid 2 minute 12 there, maybe about 2 minute 12.7 there. So
yep, 2 minute 12.638.
Ooh, so even though that was a bad sector, he managed to gain time in the third and fourth sector. So that's actually, so in theory, that's not actually a bad lap by any session there. So as we see, the championship leader of the C-Sim Rigs One Make Series, sponsored by Bottle-O and sponsored by Red Bull. It is SDRT Wiseacre, the championship leader, 8 wins to his name as he's negotiating Hell Corner for the first time and making the run up towards Mountain Straight. He has it all to lose for the final round here at C-Sim Rigs One Make, and is coming up towards the first sector there. SDRT Wiseacre coming towards. He's got himself purple by a 10th there, so a clear 10th ahead of DJSX Pointed. But I guess in a way we do know Wiseacre personally. We do know he is quite a one lap driver there. He knows how to get that car hooked up with when it comes to one lap.
Yes, he is a very fast driver over one lap, and occasionally he can string some good races together as well. So he's definitely one to watch out for, and he'll be very much up the pointy end. And as we saw last year in the Trackstars Formula 2 series, he was very quick at the end of the season and was a master of those races at the end, as he's now 3/10 up through the skyline. So
nice.
This is looking like a very good lap. Bit of a slide there, but I think he's kept it under control. But he just clipped the wall there.
Did he just clip the wall there? Or did he just miss it?
I think he got it, but yeah, I don't know how badly it'll affect his time. That might just a little bit more.
He's just clipped it again as well. Oh, that's very unlucky. So Wiseacre just having a few little mistakes there, just gliding the car too much and just clipping the Forest Elbow exit, and that's going to really compromise his run towards the chase there. But he's actually he's up, but not by much though. So Wiseacre's going to need a really gutsy last sector to topple DJSX Pointed off pole position here. But Wiseacre was comfortably ahead within the first couple of sectors there, but just made a few little mistakes there as he's coming towards Murray's corner. Is he going to be able to topple DJSX Pointed from the ISI Racing Group? Coming towards the final corner, Ken Wiseacre, the championship leader, can he topple DJ at the top of and take pole position? Initially, no, he doesn't. Oh, 0.001 behind DJ. Wow, so that mistake cost him massively, Jarman.
Yeah, that was very costly for him, and wow, that was very close between the two. So Disappointed still stays at the top, but now he crossed to SDRT Mazda, who's just crossed and gone 0.08 up on the first sector. So he's looking good so far for pole position, but there's still a long way to go on this lap.
So he's not the fastest through the first sector. That belonged to Wiseacre there, who was a 10th and a half up on DJ, but it's all that the most important sector is definitely going to be sector 2 and 3, because sector 2, that's where Wiseacre was at his best, and that's where he was the fastest through that section. So Mazda's got to make a lot of ground up in sector 2, and then even sector 3 and 4, where DJ just held his own to be at least complete. He's going to be at least on the front row for DJ. So it's a great showing there for DJ on his debut, as we see Mazda coming up towards Brocky's S's. What's his split time going to be? It is actually up by 4:10, so he's actually gone faster than Wiseacre at the top of the hill, as Mazda executes the dipper and the exit perfectly. No touch, no scratches on the car, and he's coming up towards Forest Elbow, making sure he gets the middle line, keep that car wide, and then hug it in, and then just run the car wide towards the wall without losing time. And it looks like he's got himself a straight exit onto that Conrod Straight, and I do believe, I would have to say that I think maybe DJ's just a minute defeat, that we do believe we might see Mazda on pole position, unless a mistake is made.
Yeah, it doesn't look likely at the moment. It's going to take a big mistake for it to happen, because he's nearly 7/10 up after the third sector, so this is nearly Greg Murphy-like here.
And he hit the Kiwi as well, so he must be channeling his inner Greg Murphy. And he's going to come up towards the line. He's going to get himself a low 2-minute 11 there. So I wonder if that's going to be possible. He did set 2-minute 10s, but we're going to wait and see as he just runs a little bit onto the grass there. Can he get himself a low 2:11? He does, and it's a great lap at 2-minute 11.582. So 0.7 ahead of DGX Pointed, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Our top 5 is complete. First in pole position and leading the charge will be SDRT Mazda, the newest recruit to the Shadon Racing Team, followed by DJSX Pointer. So great performance by DJ and the ISI Racing Group in second place, with Mad Malik, SDRT Wiseacre in third place, with Mad Malik in fourth, with In Accession rounding up the top 5. So congratulations to the SDRT Mazda, as we're about to get this race underway very shortly.
Yeah, it looks like Mazda's very much celebrating that one with a few quick donuts.
Greg Murphy. So instead of doing donuts, it's basically, yeah, it's So instead of just like doing a lap of honour, he's just done it, and he's set himself a great time. And as DJ has told us that his pace in practice was immense, it's going to be a very interesting race, and the tyre strategy is going to be interesting as well. With all three compounds need to be used in this race for 48 laps. So
it's going to be an interesting one to see how they go, what strategies they play out.
Exactly, as we actually do see on the timing screens, it looks like it's an accession on the mediums, Dan 08 on the hard tyres, a few of the top drivers on the soft tyres. So yeah, it'll be one to see, and it'll be one to have a look at, and hopefully it provides great racing and good strategy.
Yeah, that's definitely right, and it'll be interesting to watch, that's for sure. I'm just going to quickly duck off and get a drink before we get underway with this race.
No worries.
As they do set the grid for the C-Sim Rigs Bottle Bathurst 300, so stay tuned, where we will bring the race start to you within a couple of minutes time. So stay tuned, grab a cold one, it's going to be an exciting race. Alright, so just before we get this race underway, I would like to give a shout out to the sponsors that has made this series possible. C-Sim Rigs. It is a local company from Newcastle, New South Wales, and they came across SDRT Wazadon, also real name Donald Campbell, as he proposed to them the idea for them to be the main sponsors for the One Make series from the Group 4 Toyota GT86 series, and they have accepted his proposal, and it's thanks to them that they've made this series possible and to bring a great show. Also, Wazadon is the manager of Domino's Swansea, also based in Newcastle. He's also brought them on board as he actually is the manager at Domino's Swansea, and hence the Domino's delivery that he'll be piloting himself, and Kazi will be piloting the Domino's entry 26 and 96, I believe it is, or number 10, being another local sponsor to the Shade On Racing team. Another sponsor that they have on board for the series and possibly a part-time, long-term deal, it is Tai Chi Sim Racing Wheels. It is a new sim racing company founded in 2019, which was searching for a team to spread the word out that Tai Chi Sim is here to make a name in league racing. Their motto is to strive on the quality and custom-made sim racing wheels built with carbon fiber and aluminium parts. They are always on the lookout to promote their brand in both professional and amateur leagues to get their name across. And what a name to get their name across with the Shade On Racing team, both in the Track Stars Racing Series and in the C-Sim Rigs One Make. Their logos on the front of their cars and presenting a huge backing by Tai Chi Sim Racing Wheels. And we can't forget the main sponsor of the Bathurst 300, Bottle-O. It's a partnership formed quite recently, and it is an ideal one-off sponsor for the Bathurst 300, where I think from what I remember, they said the winner of this event, it will actually get something from Bottle-O. So maybe a voucher, maybe a case of beer, who knows? I mean, if you do a sim race and you win a case of beer,
It's there. So I'd be happy with that.
Now I see why Mountain Goat pulled out.
Yeah, that's right. Oh man, probably get it for his old man, or maybe. Well, usually, what do you think? Do you at that age were you drinking around that age, 15, 16 years old?
No, I wasn't actually.
Oh, you were well behaved.
I think I waited until about 17ish, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's how it is. I think most high school and teenagers all around about that 14, 15-year-old just get their older siblings or cousins or friends of friends just to say, hey, can I have a couple of drinks? Can you get me a couple of beers whilst you're at the bottle-o? So, and I guess in a way, if we do have some internationals in the stream, bottle-o is basically an abbreviation of you going down to the bottle shop, and you hear it everywhere. You hear it from a mate that says, do you want to get a slab of beer from the bottle-o? And it's not just talking about the actual name itself. Bottle-o, it could be anything. It could be Bottle-o, Liquorland, Dan Murphy's, whatever. It's bottle-o's, or it's just the Australian slang of going down to the bottle shop.
Yeah, of course, the Bottle-o company certainly played on that very well, and some great marketing from that team to come up with that name for the company. It probably works really well for them because nearly every Aussie says I'm going down to the Bottle-o, so it works out very well for them, and it's probably something that you look at and go, well, I know exactly what that is.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. But it's great to see like a couple of local companies, like I did mention, Domino Swansea and CSIM Rigs from Newcastle, and I myself I am from Newcastle alongside with Wiseacre and Wasadon. We haven't met, unfortunately, but we'll hopefully one day get
together and talk about the track style rivalries that we have, and
later on in mid next year paired together for our big event coming up at Trackstars Racing Series. Maybe do you want to do like a little cheeky plug there for the upcoming for the big event in Trackstars?
Well, it actually isn't really a Trackstars event. We're sort of running it independent of any other series, but we've got the Nürburgring 24 Hours coming in June next year, so at this stage the plan is that it'll be a local team only event, so you'll get a team of probably anywhere between 2 to 6 drivers and all meet up into one location and race together for 24 hours, and if you're lucky enough and got enough talent, you might come away with the win.
Who knows? Well, that Jarman is set for 2022. We are in 2021. It is the end of July, so we are here live at the Bathurst, at the Mount Panorama Bathurst, with myself, Ed Spud, P666, and It's Racing in the commentary box for you, bringing you the CSIM Rigs One Make Toyota 86 Group 4. It is going to be SDRT Mazda on pole position with DJ SX Pointed in second, SDRT Wiseacre in third, Matt Mullick in fourth. As we're coming up towards the lights, it is lights out, green flag racing, and it looks like DJ's got himself a great start ahead of Mazda, so he's going to look to cover the inside line, but he can't do that as his Mazda's go on the outside, and he has done perfectly. And leading the race for the ISR Racing Group is DJ SX Pointed. Behind is SDRT Mazda with Wiseacre and Wasadon. So he's got a horde of SDRT boys right behind him, DJ. But we know DJ is a cool, calm driver. He looks to defend the inside as Mazda decides to go around the outside, coming towards Griffin's Bend. It is possible with these cars, but on cold tyres, it is not that easy. And it looks like coming out the back there, Mazda does pay for that consequence of running that a little bit too wide there, trying to go the outside line. It just didn't work there. And coming up towards the cutting, it is DJ ahead of Wiseacre, Mazda, Wasadon, and Matt Malik in the top 5.
Yeah, good start there from Disappointed, and of course Wiseacre hot on the tail already as we're coming across the top of the mountain. He's looking for a way through, nearly goes the SVG tactic of making a dive at McPhillamy, but thinks better of it this time around. As it's disappointed he's leading the field through into the dipper. Gets a bit sideways there though.
Tail happy there. Yeah.
As
Wiseacre's
Wiseacre's...
as well, and he's made a big mistake as well. That's going to open up for Mazda to take the position in second place there. Does he think about making a move on the inside? He doesn't. So he's just going to hold back behind Wiseacre and just take advantage of the slipstream. There's contact at the back of the field. It's the two teammates as Renegade by 4701 and Isar Benjo. As we look at a quick replay, what happened? It looks like Renegade must have just clipped the wall there, and he's just running a little bit too hot. Yes, he has, and he's just taken Benjo out at the wrong place, wrong time. But it actually looks like Benjo did that on his own. He must have just had a bit of a reaction there towards Renegade's mistake.
Yeah, I think he's seen one car spin out and probably just followed suit himself. So not a good start for those two drivers at this point.
No, not the start that they wanted for the ISR Racing Group at the back there, but they'll be very happy that they signed DJ to be the leading ISR Racing driver in the Bathurst 300, leading the way for the second lap here with 48. We're down 2 laps down, with 1 lap down, 47 to go, ladies and gentlemen. So strap yourself in, grab a cold one from the bottle-o, and make sure you guys sit back and enjoy the coverage live and free on YouTube. It is DJ SX Pointer in first place, with Wiseacre in second, with Mazda, the pole man, going from first to third, with Wazadon making a move and making a couple of positions up from 6th place.
Fifth, and Chef Toddy coming from the back there, he's up into 6th place. So that's a great recovery drive from. That's a great charge towards the front for Chef Toddy there.
Good start there.
7th place. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's definitely made a good start there. Made up a few spots. So not sure if there's been a few mistakes from other drivers as well along the way. But what's going on here?
Right oh, what's going
I
on?
think he's had a mechanical malfunction with his equipment.
Oh,
I've actually seen this before. It's happened to myself in the Trackstar series, where the brakes just applied and I got stuck on the final corner at Bathurst. So
what is going on? He's driving backwards. Oh, he's disconnected. Oh no, Chef Toddy, we're praising his awesome drive there. I was just trying to catch his Twitch stream because he was live on Twitch, but no, bloody advertising. I couldn't catch that. So I wonder what happened there. No, Chef Toddy, that's so unlucky.
not sure what the rules are, but would that be a red flag or?
I'm not too sure. Well, he looks like he must have just been his internet because his whole stream is disconnected as well. So it's definitely it's probably an internet connection, probably down in New Zealand. So I don't think there will be a red flag. I think it is still green flag racing. It's still, unfortunately, Chef Toddy was put on a great drive to be up in 6th place there from what was possibly, I believe, outside the top 10 for Chef Toddy.
Yeah, he was going very well there at the start, and unfortunately it's all come unglued for him, and yeah, he's going to be very much kicking himself over that one. But I mean, it could be a lot worse. He could have done 47 laps and disconnected on the final one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's great to. It's not. Well, I guess it's not great to disconnect at the beginning of the race because you build the hype up. It's weeks in preparation and all the practice time with your mates, and then just a sudden disconnect. You know, it can happen to anyone. I mean, it happened to myself in the touring car series at Interlagos in the 3rd race, where we're just having a good time, battles for the podium position, and just all of a sudden just a disconnect there. So yeah, it can happen to anybody, whether it's good internet or bad land. You know, it can happen to anybody.
Yeah, you're definitely right there, and I actually remember I think it was a Bathurst 250 here many years ago, and I was well on the way to winning. This is on Project Cars, and I correctly calculated all the weather changes to swap onto the wet tyres and then swap back, and had myself about a 40-second lead and heading into Murray's Corner to start the final lap, and I disconnected.
Oh, that's so unlucky. That's very, very harsh. But Yeah, so it can happen to anybody, but looks like we've got a change. Looks like we've got a battle for first place. It is SDRT Wiser. He's looking to take the inside, but that's going to be the outside for the end of the chase. A bit of contact made between DJ and SDRT Wiser. DJ putting up a great fight on the championship leader and the guy that has it all to lose. It is SDRT Wiseacre thinking about making a move, swerving left, swerving right. Is he going to make that move, stick in Murray's corner? He has done. He's just gone a little bit pushy there, but DJ just holds the outside line.
Towards, can he get himself the outside line, possibly the racing line? And to turn one, no, he backs out of it. So that's smart driving by DJ, and he's going to look to hope and stay right behind Wiseacre to hopefully save fuel, because like I did say earlier in the broadcast, fuel and tyres is going to be a key strategy with both drivers.
Needs to make a minimum 2 stops.
Yeah, it's going to be a long race, so fuel economy might be key. Is disappointing. Looks to go around the outside. There's a bit of a bump there.
Surely not. And he's got a little bit of contact there from Wiseacre. And oh, a bit of big contact there. And they're still going side by side. So this is great bargee racing, boys. But at least I would say fair. But I guess, you know what, you don't really need to do that early in the race if you know it's going to be a long one. So they don't need to be fighting it out, because they can bring guys like Wasadon and Malik into the play, and even in Accession, who's dropped a few positions from the start as well.
Yeah, and of course Madster was probably a fair bit back from this, and now this battling that's going on has really brought him back into the pack as well, and he might be just sitting there conserving fuel and just kicking back and looking at these two beating each other up and using up all their fuel and tyres while he's conserving everything.
Get a quick look at the fuel numbers. So it looks like DJ's just gone past the quarter tank there. I wonder what Wiseacre's got in his fuel tank.
Looks like he's used a little bit more.
Actually, Wiseacre's used a little bit less.
Oh, he has, okay. Oh, DJ thinks that, oh, sorry, not DJ. Wiseacre's going to take that inside line. So it was the outside line, now it's the inside line for Wiseacre.
By DJ, so can DJ put
it around the outside of the pace? No, he doesn't. He had to flop back into second place, and he's got to get himself pressured by Mazda. As Mazda's looking to make a move on the outside and takes second place ahead of DJ. So DJ goes from first to possibly third within the space of a couple of corners there, but DJ managing to hold second place. But those two battling it out, they don't need to do that, because they're going to lose Wiseacre. And if Wiseacre runs away, we do know him well, Jarman. If he runs away, he could possibly take the victory, not just victory, but the championship.
Yeah, at this stage he's looking very strong for that championship, and I don't know, maybe if I was disappointed I would, if Madster starts to put a move on, maybe just not fight too much and just slot in behind and sit in third. Know that you don't have any pressure from behind at this point, and just sit behind and pile the pressure on these two guys instead.
So what do you think? Do you think he should possibly let Madster go? Because obviously on qualifying pace, Madster was the fastest out of anybody. But would you actually want to give Madster second place, and maybe he challenges Wiseacre for the lead, and DJ just sits back and just plays the fuel game?
It's a hard one. I think at this rate I'd say probably no, stay there, and I think Madster's actually made a mistake. He's really dropped off there.
Oh, no way. So he must have just run a little bit wide there up towards the top of the hill, or maybe towards the cutting. We won't know that until we see maybe a replay. Well, it looks like he dropped back a little bit early there, so did he make contact with the wall? It looks like he did, so a little bit unfortunate there for Madster. So he's to drop back, so that plan of having Madster overtaking DJ in second place is not going to be likely anymore, but as we see DJ cop himself a 0.5 second penalty as he's looking to make a move on Wiseacre. So these two are battling it out, so forget about fuel save, forget about it all. It's all about, it's going to be track decision and just hard racing, and I think that's what we love to see in the CC Rigs 1 make, where it's just all hard racing and just going for it, and let the tyre strategy and fuel game play as Wiseacre takes it to the grass there, coming up towards the end of the chase and up towards Murray's corner. It is Wiseacre and DJ still side by side, and Wiseacre takes back first place. Can DJ get a switch back on Wiseacre? But Wiseacre ducks to the inside just to block off any chance of a switchback. But DJ is going to take the outside line. Is he going to cut back towards the inside and get the outside again? Possibly, but Wiseacre is quick to it, and he's actually going to pull to the left, but he's also pulling to the right there. So great battling going on between the top two, but look who's brought that back into play of Manster from the Shade On Racing team.
Yeah, he's getting himself back in there with these two fighting it out through these corners here, so...
Is he going to go around the outside again? No, he doesn't. So DJ couldn't make that. He made that move stick within the first couple of laps, but he won't be able to make that move on lap 6 as his tyres start to wear out and the tyre grip just becomes basically non-existent on the outside with all that rubble and extra rubble on the outside there. So unfortunately for DJ, he's going to have to tuck behind. He's got a 1.2 second penalty hanging over him, but the Shade On Racing team boys don't do any burn zones, so they do allow drivers to keep their penalties. So I guess it promotes hard racing, but I guess in a way you don't want to have any unnecessary ghosting, which could cause an accident.
Yeah, it's a tough one as well, and obviously around here I probably wouldn't even, I guess with the exception of the I'll call it the S's, it probably isn't a track prone for much corner cutting, so I guess you probably have to turn it on for the S's, but that's about it. So see what's going on here.
It is a bit of a weird one, that, because well, hang on, why is Wiseacre ghosted? Is he writing in the chat or something? He has. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I can't read what he just posted in the chat there, so didn't catch that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of discussion about why there wasn't a red flag for Chef Toddy's disconnectors. Now they're battling it out for the lead still here.
The top three have just have comfortably pulled away from Wazadon, as we don't want to take our eyes off the top three, but we might have to look down towards the front, as I did see an Accession overtake Matt Mullock to take his 5th place there. So we'll have to keep an eye on that backfield, and he is actually catching Wazadon as well. So Mad Malik has dropped down to 4.2. Right behind is Dynamite 296 from, I believe, also from the Caviar Racing team in 7th place, with Dan 08 in 8th place, SLN Kazi in 9th in the second backed Domino's Swansea backed Shade On Racing team 86, with Hyperdrift HKX in 10th place there. But contact there, and it looks like he just got pushed into the barricade. SDRT Wiseacre, great catch on that Jarman, but Wiseacre got too close to the barricade, as we might see a quick replay and maybe an onboard of how that happened, because that is a costly moment for Wiseacre. Unfortunately, just clipping the right hand side of the barrier, and that barrier sticks out, and the GT physics says, unfortunately for you, son, you're going to cop it. So unlucky there. So just wrong place, wrong time, and it's pretty early in the race as well. Lap 7 of 48 there. So maybe in a way it's not very costly, but I guess for a guy like Wiseacre, he knows he can charge back through the field. But that amazing battle that we've seen with DJ's Exponent and Mazda and Wiseacre is only dropped down to 2 drivers, DJ and Mazda, fighting it out for the first position there. So very unlikely there, very unlucky for Wiseacre there, and that costly mistake that he made at the top of the close just before the cutting.
Yeah, it's a very costly error there. It's dropped him all the way down the order, down to 5th place, and I'm just having a quick look. I believe is it 22 points the gap between Wiseacre and Wazadon? And I'm just having a look here at the point system. I think it's a 32-point gap between them at the moment. So this could actually cost Wiseacre the championship here.
So, as in the good name of Mark Scape, it has changed champion. It has championship implications there for Wiseacre, making contact at the top of the hill there. So very costly. But look at him; he's not far away from Wazadon. So we do know Wiseacre's pace is very strong. So he'll definitely be catching up to Wazadon pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be on the charge as we speak and making sure that he gets himself in front of Wazadon, because I'm sure the best form of defence is attack in this case.
Exactly. As we put up our fake Amazon tracker that the Formula One do, I would probably calculate roughly he'll catch up to in Accession and SDRT Wazadon. I would probably predict in 2 laps time.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna say, what is it, 2.1 seconds? Yeah, I'm gonna say probably striking distance in the next lap.
There you go. So we got our bets in thanks to our fake sponsor at Amazon. so no, just come sponsor us if you want, Amazon, and we'll hopefully get this right for you. Because apparently your stats aren't right as well in Formula One. So, but it looks like it's just Weizsäcker is just getting really caught up in the chat there, and that's really costing him. So, I guess in a way, like we at Trackstars Racing Series, we don't allow text box chat, and it does really complicate the way that you run the race. And chat box racing is just not on.
Yeah, it's that's sort of why we have the party chat amongst all of us, is to try and communicate as much as possible. But also with the case of the safety car, we sort of leave that up to Robbo's capable hands as well, and let him do a bit of the communication, and that sort of gets a message out to everyone. But looking at this, I think it might actually be a red flag now, because
so I saw 10 people drop out there, or at least 2 people drop out, it looks like.
I think Weizsäcker did drop out there. I don't think he saw that Chef Toddy dropped out at the start, so now he's recognised that mistake, and I think he's going to remedy it all, because I don't think he's there anymore.
Chef Toddy, I don't know either, but it looks like, but regardless whether it's a red flag or not, SDRT Mazda has taken the lead ahead of DJXX Pointed, and all these complications, all these strategies that these drivers have been playing, you know, fuel game, tyre strategy, and sitting behind someone's slipstream, that's all gone now, because if it's going to be a red flag, and it's going to be probably cut down from 48 to 38 or 37, it's gonna be hard to count back on who was actually in the lead.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one there, and I think I'd say it'd be disappointing in the lead from Mazda, then Wazadon in section, and then of course Weizsäcker in
maybe
5th.
Weizsäcker, yeah. But it's so interesting because there's 10 drivers, and 2 drivers dropped out towards the end there, and unfortunately they're just not getting the message through that if you're not in a party chat and if you do disconnect, well, unfortunately, looks like it is actually going to be a red flag, because DJSX Pointed just did drop out of that, unfortunately. So it looks like it will be a reset.
Yep, it looks like everyone's finally dropping out now.
Yep, it is going to be a red flag, but for our drivers there, very unfortunate events happening here, ladies and gentlemen, that it is a red flag, and the race is going to have to be restarted, possibly around about that, maybe the 37 laps to go or something like, or 37 lap race. So, unfortunately, very, very, very sad to have that happen, and very unlucky for that to happen, as we now see Chef Toddy rejoining the lobby as well. So it's going to be a hard one. They might have to just rewind the stream, and they can probably get the results from maybe, I'd say, lap 7 or lap 6.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. I would hate to be the guy that's setting the grid for this one. Maybe something a bit of a single file restart, possibly.
Maybe would you do a would you do like a rolling start, or would you go back to a grid start like they do in Formula One?
I nearly think maybe just the single file, but of course this is Weizsäcker's series to run, so whatever he decides, I'm sure we'll just sit back and go along with it and just get back to calling the action.
Yeah, so we got the call there. Wyzek is
5. So it's actually a lot less than what we anticipated there. I thought it was going to be around about 30, maybe 36, 35 lap race, but he's dropped it down to 25 there.
So definitely not the way we want to have the C-Sim Rigs one make finish their season on a high. So very unfortunate for the team, for the race not to run smoothly as it should be. But I guess in a way, for a guy like Chef Toddy and like I said, one of the founders of and the boss of the Caviar Racing team and one of the leading members of the C-Sim Rigs C-Sim Rigs one make series, I guess they would definitely get their main driver back in the car or back on the track just to finish off the final round.
Yeah, and of course he did drop out in the first few laps, so obviously he does need a chance to get back in the race, and yeah, it was part of the rules, and it was unfortunate. We did catch it on stream that how he dropped out, and it looked like a connection issue, because I don't think any driver would seriously contemplate putting his car in reverse and going backwards around the track, and the manner in which he did it was very impressive. I mean, I'm sure if I was reversing around the track, I would have hit a lot more than what Chef Toddy did on that vision.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I guess we always do it as a little trademark when we're waiting in between sessions to run the track in reverse, or just do a reverse lap around the track, or do the whole track in reverse. But I guess it wasn't fun and games for Chef Toddy there, so with that disconnect, unfortunately. So hopefully the net is sorted out, and maybe whether it was a blackout or maybe just a net drop, who knows. But they'll be hoping to sort the grid out, ladies and gentlemen, as I will be, unfortunately. Maybe I'll probably be on the broadcast for the next few minutes, but unfortunately for me, I might have to sign off because I'll have to be doing my league that's coming up very shortly. So it's all into your hands, Jum.
Okay, so
not just yet though. Well, hopefully they can get the race underway and I might be able to call it. But yeah, so it looks like a bit of heated chat, messages in the chat there. So apologies for for what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. So hopefully we can get the C-Sim Rigs one make Bottle-O Bathurst 300 back underway very shortly.
Yeah, apologies, ladies and gentlemen, for all the late delay that we have going on, unfortunately. We're just getting the Shade On Racing team managers are just getting this under control, and hopefully we can get this underway very shortly. But I guess in a way, the series, I guess we can share a bit of positive light for this series. The C-Sim Rigs 1 Make series has high hopes for the series next year, especially with the arrival of the next gen that was introduced in the real world and even on the GT Sport game, whereas it stands out to be. But as it stands, there is a fierce contest between the drivers and teams championship to decide, with 25 laps of this great race that is the Bathurst 300, or probably not 300 anymore, probably about, maybe, I'm not too sure, is it about 200 or something like that? Maybe less, I'm not so sure.
I think it'll be close to 150.
Oh, there you go. That's it. But yeah, so the second generation of the Toyota GR86 is due to be out in the year 2022. Although it's completely new, it follows the same rear-wheel drive formula as the first gen car. So developed again in conjunction with the Subaru BRZ, where they basically share the same of everything. It's all the difference is just the swapping of the badges there. The 2022 GR86 will be powered by a horizontally opposed four-cylinder engine and has a standard 6-speed manual transmission there. So one to keep an eye on for the next series coming up later in maybe 2022 for the Shade On Racing team. But we are finally back underway, ladies and gentlemen, where we will get ourselves underway for the C-Sim Rigs Bottle 300, where it's only been cut short to 25 laps. A red flag, unfortunately. So 25 laps is going to be the final number for the racing tonight here, ladies and gentlemen, where we have SDRT Mazda in first place, DGSX Pointed in second place, and I did see back there Wiseacre was down in 11th place there, so he's got a lot of work to catch up there as we get ourselves ready to see the green flag. It is lights out, green flag racing for the second time. It is DJ versus Mazda in first and second place, with In Accession in third, with SDRT Wazadon trying to make that move in for third place, and he has done. But this is going to prove a great thing for Wazadon if he's in third place, because if he's in third and Wiseacre's down towards the back, this is going to help him with the championship, like he said.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge one.
On DJ, and Wazadon is going to think about making it pretty wide here. Surely not. That brings back the vibes of Russell Ingall and Lee Holdsworth there back in 2014, as there's contact being made by DJSX Pointer and Wazadon. Then he drops from basically second to fourth place in the span of a corner there. But leading the way is Mazda, and he runs wide as well. And look who's taking the lead, ladies and gentlemen. SDRT Wazadon second in the championship, while his main rival, is outside the top 10. And Wazadon is now leading the race for the C-Sim Rig 1 Make.
Yeah, very good start here for Wazadon. He's capitalised on a few mistakes. Mazda was battling away, and there goes in next section.
He's
gone wide.
Circuit, and he's put a wheel on the gravel there, and we see Mazda drop as well. So this is going from bad to worse for Mazda. But what was going to be a great fight for first position, he's now down in fourth place.
Yeah, so at the moment we've got Wazadon leading the way on our first lap. Disappointed sitting in second, and then in section, and then Mazda running in fourth, and of course Mad Malik, he's in the second Caviar Racing Team car on the track, is rounding out the top 5. But very good start for Wazadon. This is going to win him the championship at this rate, but of course we've got to look for Wiseacre, who's just moved into 8th place. There's a bit of contact there between a few guys.
Between the teammates there, and Wiseacre is in the thick of it, as we see all the teammates run wide there. It is Kazi and Dan 08 running themselves wide and making contact with Shade On Racing teams. We see a replay of what happened there. We might see if we can catch an onboard from Wiseacre's angle there. So a bit of a heated pack there. Just look at the Shade On boys, Jarman. They're just going hammer and tong with each other. They don't know that Wiseacre's leading the championship, as Wiseacre just pushes Kazi wide, which collects his Dan 08s there. So a little bit of a concertina effect, but I think I might have to give the full blame to Wiseacre on that.
I think by the looks of things he just dropped a wheel in that dirt going through the chase. We'll just have another look at this replay here. Let's see, I think this might give us the best angle actually. I think he's dropped the wheel into the dirt right here and it's just spat him out into the path of...
yeah, good pick up there. Yes, that's very good pick up there. So, that's very unlucky for the straight-on racing team car sponsored by Domino's and Red Bull, all making contact within that first couple of laps there. So,
race, ladies and gentlemen, we have SDRT Wazadon in first and SDRT Wiseacre in 9th place. So I wonder if these guys
try and make it possibly a one-stop. I'm not so sure with. I believe some of the drivers are just struggling to get themselves within 12 to 13 laps of fuel, but we're not too sure, unfortunately, whether it's going to be a one-stop or maybe a quick two-stop. But I do know they do have to change tyres.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a tyre stop here, so that's going to force at least one stop, but I think, yeah, if you're very good on the fuel saving, you could probably stretch it out to just a one stop, and it could be very interesting towards the end to see who can actually do that and who's going to struggle.
Absolutely. As we see, Wazadon leading the way for the first time in the C-Sim Rigs 1 Make Bathurst 300 sponsored by Autoload, as Wazadon leading the way with DJ, who's consistently been up towards the front there, and he's just showing some pure class driving there, just not getting too much into the battle, just wants to sit back, maybe preserve his tyres, preserve his fuel, as we see the two teammates, Dano 8 and Wiseacre. So we see Dano maybe pulling to the side and maybe letting Wiseacre through. No, he doesn't actually, so he's actually defending hard there. So I'm not so sure if that's a great strategy call for the teammates there. So Dano should know that Wiseacre is in the hunt for the championship, but I guess because it is a double points round tonight, maybe I wonder if Dano is just going all for nothing, as we do see out here, and Wiseacre going all on the grass there and making a bold move on the outside on Dano 8 there. So definitely not what Wiseacre wanted from his teammate.
Yeah, well, you also have to remember that the main championship rival is Wazadon, who is the big boss of SDRT, so I guess moving over and letting Wiseacre have it is probably helping take the series away from the big boss as well. So
and we did just see there Dano just pull off to the side and let his teammate say, you know what, you're a lot faster than me and you've got a championship, so I'll let you go through. But that was a bit of a hairy moment there between the two teammates there, unfortunately. So definitely not helping Wiseacre as we look at maybe towards the track map, as we're actually, unfortunately, we're not going to look at that. We're going to look at DJ take the lead of the Bathurst 300, now shortened down to 25 laps, but only 23 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen. So we've got ourselves a heated up race for the last night of racing here at the C-Sim Rigs 1 Make. It is DJ SX Pointer from Ice R Racing in first place, with SDRT Wazadon in the Domino's backed Shade On Racing team in second place, with In Accession the Caviar. So we've got the top three teams in the top three, Jarman.
yeah, it's a very good look there. Definitely a lot of variety between the three teams, so always good to have a bit of variety, a bit of parity, you could even say, even though it's a one make series, so they should all be racing the same equipment. As Wazadon just ran wide there, goes through the grass at the chase, and it spits him back out in the lead, so I'm not sure whether...
Don't know how that's going to be played. Well, he's picked himself a penalty and he just pulled out of that, so great move there by Wazadon to not fight for it, and he knew he was in the wrong and he just pulled back, so he dropped down to third place. So great driving there by Wazadon, and I guess in a way he doesn't need to, if he stays with his pack, great, because it'll help him with the championship over Wiseacre. But I guess in a way, you have to feel sorry for how the race has turned out, because unfortunately going from 48 to 25 laps and all the confusion in the technical cap on GT board is probably not given that much hasn't given much confidence for Wiseacre to make moves anymore.
Yeah, and of course he's probably been a bit hindered by his own administration of the series, so unfortunately it's probably set him towards the back of the field. But I'm just going to have a bit of a look back. Nice battle here between Mad Mullock, Madster, Hyperdrift HKS, and then No, Wiseacre's just a little bit back, so this could play into Wiseacre's hands here, because these 4 cars are all battling it out, going hammer and tong at each other, so it could really drag Wiseacre back into this battle quite easily.
Absolutely, so it's all about Wiseacre, and hopefully he can actually just stay where he is and hopefully maybe save a little bit of fuel and just use the other car slipstream and also make overtake at the same time. But it's all about just Wiseacre. There he is at the background, just behind Hyper X or Hyper Drift. So he's going to have to just make his way up through the field, but maybe not crush too much, but he does need to save fuel. And I guess more importantly, he doesn't want to make a 2-stop, because if Wazadon's going for the 1-stop, it's going to play into Wazadon's hand.
Yeah, of course, Wazadon might just be sitting back, play it a bit easy. He's certainly got the advantage that he could save some fuel and maybe take that risk a bit more with the 1-stop, whereas Wiseacre might have to push harder and take the 2-stop, or who knows, maybe it might be the other way around, where Wazadon feels he can do the 2-stop strategy and push hard and extend the margin, and Wiseacre might feel like he has to take a risk and go for that 1-stop and maybe take his chances on fuel.
You see Wazadon just right behind in accession from Caviar Racing Team. He's looking like he's doesn't look like he's saving the fuel, because he's pulling the car out full revs there, so I don't think there's going to be much fuel saving there on his side, but we will maybe look up towards DJ and his fuel numbers. I wonder if DJ is actually going to be saving more fuel than Wazadon, but actually no, they're quite similar at this stage.
Yeah, the numbers are similar. Disappointed's just probably got a little bit more in the tank, because we should head back and look at this battle for you. Oh, that's very game there, going too wide through that corner.
So you see In Accession and Wazadon battling out for second place here, so it's going to DJ
with the lead, with a healthy lead of 1.1 seconds ahead of In Accession and SDRT Wazadon, with Mad Malik in 4th place, Dynamite in 5th, with SDRT Master the pole man from the top 5 shootout down in 6th place, with Hyperdrift in 7th, and Wiseacre still down in 8th place. So I wonder what strategy Wiseacre is going to have, but unfortunately it's not. The strategy is to try and move up, but he's not moving up fast enough.
He's right on the back now.
So he's now right on the pack there, so he can definitely see 7th place and 6th place in sight. So whether Mazda lets Wiseacre go, or whether they just say, you know what, let's just race it out. It is the final race of the season and we just want to have a bit of fun. But I guess for Wiseacre, he doesn't want to race. I mean, he just wants to win a championship, I'd say.
Oh, I think if he had the opportunity to win the race as well, he'd take it with both hands.
Absolutely. So, what would you think? So, like, if you put yourself in Wiseacre's position, do you think you'd make moves on like the slow, or maybe on a slower driver, just like Hyperdrift, for example, and then maybe take the slipstream advantage of Mazda, or would you just like sit back, take some fuel on board, and hopefully get a 1-stop?
It'd be a hard one to judge, I reckon. I think at this stage it'd be hard to tell without actually knowing what the fuel numbers are, so I'd think personally I'd aim to get that 1-stop strategy, and I think that might be the quicker way.
I do apologise there, I did see a bit of contact there made with Hyperdrift there, so very unlucky there, so just a little bit made a bit of contact, but he just made that move stick. So nice move there from Wiseacre. That's 1 down. It looks like he's got 3 to go, as we see Mad Malik has actually dropped down a couple of positions there, so he's made a mistake somewhere in his run. So Mad Malik just going from 4th place down to 5th, so he's got Mazda right in front of him, and he's also got Mazda behind him, and he's also got Wiseacre behind him as well.
Yeah, there's a few fast drivers here, and I think maybe Wiseacre might be looking at the strategy of tucking in behind Mazda, and saving fuel, but of course, I mean, if you get yourself up the order, you get that track position, which might be a bit more crucial than actually sitting behind and saving fuel. Maybe you can save fuel in other ways by not revving it out, but he's obviously doing that as well, so maybe just going for the 2-stop might be the better strategy. Although looking at the consumption at the moment, I think you'll get 12 laps out of a tank here.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm looking at, the lap counter as well, and I can just see he's just gone over the half marker on the fuel, so he might be able to make a one-stop work, but that second stint's going to be really sketchy and it's going to be really tight. I think it might be more of a like a Jamie Whincup situation in 2014. Fuel numbers could be quite low, but who knows?
Yeah, it's going to be a big challenge here. Maybe they've found something here with the lap numbers. It's certainly probably created a bit more of an interesting race here amongst everyone. I think I can safely say that probably amongst his top 8, I would have no idea who's going to actually win this race.
Yeah, it is very close. Like it can be anybody's race. You know, it can be other people towards the front, or it could be even this mid pack here. So that's led by Matt Mullock. So it's a crazy pack, and they're not far from each other, because if DJ's just gone past the exit of cutting and coming up towards something, Weizsäcker, I don't think he's that far behind.
I think he's only about 7 seconds back, so still plenty of time in this race to get himself up the order. And so, I mean, a win and the championship is still very much on if he manages this race right. But it is a very long pit lane now, thanks to the update earlier in the year. So it might be something that drivers consider, that maybe they might lose 5-10 seconds saving fuel, but they gain another 30 by not having to traverse down pit lane an extra time.
Absolutely. So as we see DJSX pointed in first place, ahead of In Accession in second, SDRT wasn't on in third. Dynamite is actually the car that's in fourth place, with Mad Mullock in fifth place. SDRT Madstar in sixth, with SDRT Weizsäcker trying to make that charge towards the front and to his arch rival and his team boss SDRT wasn't on in third place, with Hyperdrift down in eighth. So as we're looking up towards DJ, I wonder if he's going to think about making a pit stop anytime soon.
Save a little bit just before the halfway.
Yeah, he's just a bit under the halfway point at the moment, and he's 7 laps in, so maybe 13 laps stint on the soft tyres and 12 at the end on the mediums. So be interesting to see who pits when.
Absolutely. So it's going to be a mad dash to see who's going to be on top of this one, like you mentioned. So I wonder if we've got some people in our chat. I wonder you guys maybe can let us know in the chat who's going to be able to win the CSIM Rigs 1-make Bathurst 300. Will it be DJSX Pointer, who's looking comfortably, or maybe not comfortably, in the lead because he's got In Accession right behind him? But I think with the better strategy, could be DJ's race to lose within the RSR Racing Group. Or will it be a Caviar Racing driver in Accession? And who can win the championship? Will it be Wassedon or Weizsäcker? Do let us know in the chat, as we do see Weizsäcker has actually overtaken Madstar, so he's now promoted himself up into 6th place, and he's only 3 positions down from his teammate in Wassedon.
Yeah, it's getting very close between those two, and obviously the points gap is closing in as with each position that Weizsäcker makes up, and he's just gone purple through that second sector as well, so he's certainly not taking it easy out there, as I think Mad Mullock had a bit of a contact with the wall coming through the exit of the dipper.
Looks like he's just made contact there, and looks like Weizsäcker looks like he's also just made a bit of contact on that wall as well, so he's actually dropping ground as well. But I guess, with the slipstream being effective with that, I think about 0.6 range, at least in these cars, you'll be able to claw it back quite easily. Just kind of like what you have in the Porsche Cup racing, where the cars are so evenly matched, and you get that slipstream within 6 to 7 tenths of you, just clawing back to the rear bumper of the driver in front of you.
Yeah, there's got one comment there saying DJ on top, so that's one vote for disappointed by the looks of things, although I'm looking at the fuel numbers between the two, and I think in section is just slightly better on fuel at the moment thanks to that slipstream, so might be...
Is that in next session?
Yes, I think he's just got a bit more juice in the tank than what DJ has, so
Okay.
he might be able to stretch it out a bit more, maybe get that extra lap, or even if they're end up on the same strategy, you might spend less time filling up.
Exactly right. Well, on that note, Jarman, and to everyone in the C-Sim Rigs 1 Make Series, that is me signing off. So I'm going to be off to do my league race, so unfortunately I couldn't hold it out any longer, and so at least I managed to catch at least 9 laps of racing, but leading at the beginning of the 9th lap, it is DJ SX Pointed in accession in second, with SDRT Wazadon in 3rd place. So this is Spud P666 signing off. Have a great stream, Jarman, and hopefully I might be able to catch you in the debrief.
Yeah, hopefully you can join us, but yeah, good luck for your race tonight, and hopefully you come out with a win.
Thank you. Good luck, fellas.
So yes, heading back to the action, we've got Disappointed leading the way, about a half-second gap over in X section, and then the Shade On Racing team leaders SDRT Wazadon, the big boss of the team. He's rounding out the podium at this stage and looking on course to win the championship in the C-Sim Rigs 1 Make Series. SDRT Wiseacre was an early leader of this race. He made a mistake that we saw early on as in X section makes a bit of contact there coming through the corner with Disappointed, and he's just held back to make sure that Disappointed keeps that position, and now Wazadon makes a move, goes into 2nd place. Wazadon looks like he's going to try and head around the outside here, runs off into the grass, so doesn't quite pick up the lead, which would have been very crucial for him at this stage. Looks like a little bit of a dive there from Wazadon, trying to take the lead here. So heading towards the halfway point of this race, and you would say they're trying to settle into a rhythm, but they're certainly not doing that. They're very much competing for positions at the moment and trying to ensure that their little car that's out in front of this race is one driver we might need to keep an eye on here who's lurking off in the distance is Dynamite 296, as Wazadon makes a dive down the inside coming into the cutting and gets the move stuck on Disappointed. So Disappointed and in section going side by side through to Solomon Park here and towards the grate. It looks like Disappointed comes out in front, but Disappointed still on the tail of Wazadon, trying to get through, regain that lead that he had at just not even a lap ago, as he's getting a good run here through the cutting. But obviously these three are just going to have to be careful. If they start fighting too much, which they have done, it's going to bring Dynamite right on the tail, which he's very much there as we speak. So it doesn't look like Disappointed quite got the run out of the corner that he wanted, so he's going to have to really rely on that slipstream as well to get into the lead. But he's got Inex Action right on his tail, basically pushing him along. But they all hold line of stern through the chase here. No change of position as Disappointed goes on the defensive into Murray's corner. So at the end of the 10th lap, it's SDRT Wazadon leading the way. Looks like he's going to take the championship victory here if he holds on at this point. As Inex Section makes a move down the inside into Hill Corner. takes second place away from Disappointed, and now Dynamite 296 looking for a piece of the action here. Tucked in behind the rear wing of Disappointed, heading into Griffiths Bend. As Disappointed gets down the inside, and I think there was a little bit of a bump there, and it pushes NX Action wide. So NX Action down to 4th place here. Dynamite 296 now promoted up into the podium positions. He certainly came from a bit further back at the start of this race and is looking very good here in 3rd place. Just trying to get a bit of a look. He's used a lot more fuel than Disappointed has, so maybe he won't be on quite the ideal strategy here as he gets all out of shape going across that curb. Heading towards the skyline. Disappointed gets all out of shape as well, heading into the dipper. That's going to prove really costly for him. And he's picked himself up a 1 second penalty as well for good measure. Your next section, trying to have a look into Forest Elbow, doesn't quite make it stick, but the wide line from Dynamite got him a good run out of Forest Elbow and down Conrad Straight, and he'll go side by side with Disappointed. Going to be a big battle down this straight here. Who's going to come out of the chase on top? Looks like Dynamite's going to get the job done. And I think in section tried to go 3 wide there, but just couldn't quite do it. So Dynamite now up in the 2nd place. Got some great car pace there as that Wazadon's jumped into pit lane, so he's only got 6 litres of fuel left and he's into the pits for his pit stop, so definitely looks like it's going to be a 2-stop strategy here from Wazadon. So Dynamite, who hasn't really featured much in our coverage so far, now takes the lead of this race on lap 12 of 25. But Disappointed makes a move up the inside into Griffiths Bend. And now he takes the lead of this motor race. All 3 drivers heading out to lap 12, so might be a bit touch and go whether a one-stop strategy will actually work here, so be interesting to see whether anyone takes the gamble of stretching their fuel mileage out or whether they go for a splash and dash towards the end. As we look a bit further back, Hyperdrift HKS sitting in 5th place. SDRT Wiseacre running in 6th. Trying to have a look here. I'm just gonna see where did Wazadon came out in 9th place and he's over 30 seconds down on the field, so I think he's lost about 40 seconds with that pit stop. So that could be a good gauge for anyone following along as to how they want to play their strategies. As it looks like Dynamite's heading into the pits at end of lap 12, but Disappointed in X section, Mad Mullock and SDRT Madster all carrying on for a 13th lap, so looks promising for them that they're going to get a one-stop strategy out of this. As they go side by side up Mountain Straight. Looks like Disappointed does have the inside line here, but is he going to hold on to it? Yes, he does hold on to the lead here. In X section, just slotting in behind. So we're into lap 13. Looks like disappointed in section Mad Mullock, SDRT Mazda definitely committing to a one-stop strategy by the looks of things. Likes of Dynamite, possibly Renegade and SDRT Wiseacre. I know Wazadon will definitely have to do a second stop. He only pitted on about lap 11, so I don't think that's going to be quite enough to get him to the end of the race, but definitely the likes of Dynamite and Wiseacre, they're going to have to, I think they're only going to pit once possibly, but it's going to be a very interesting way to see how this pans out. Renegade looks like he'll have to make another stop himself. He's looks like he's split it up between two parts of this race. But he does have a bit more fuel than everyone who hasn't pitted yet, so just trying to have a look. Maybe he's done a better job of saving here. So here come the leaders into the pits, and actually one to look at there is Mad Mullock and Madster are both on medium tyres, so they could be charging home towards the end of this race. They're gonna switch to the soft tyres. The likes of Inex Section and Disappointed gonna have to finish off this race in the mediums. As Wazadon looks like he's coming through to take the lead of this race. So it looks like Wazadon's on a charge here. Looks like he's going to try and build out a gap as much as possible. And of course Dynamite comes out onto the track and he's taken second spot, but it's in X section and Disappointed side by side. We've seen this many times before, coming into Griffiths Bend. And Disappointed comes out in front again. Meanwhile, our championship leader at this stage, SDRT Wiseacre, sitting back in 6th spot. Under a little bit of pressure from Mad Mullock. Looks like Mad Mullock's on the soft tyres, so this might not be going to plan for Wiseacre, but of course the main person he has to worry about here, of course, is his championship rival, his teammate. I'd even call him boss. Oh no! He's spun around! This is going to be disastrous for Wiseacre. He's lost control there at the top of the skyline. And he's gone into the fence here. A very slow lose there, and yes, unfortunately that's just proven costly there for Wiseacre. Dropped back down into 9th place. He's 17 seconds behind Wazadon. Now grown to 18 seconds the gap, so definitely not the way that Wiseacre wants to defend his championship lead, and the hunt for the title certainly isn't going to plan at this stage of the race. As we now have Renegade coming into pit lane. He's going to make his pit stop. But back out in front, Wazadon building out a 4-second lead over Dynamite. I think it's safe to say that Wazadon's very much committed to this 2-stop strategy. Don't know whether it'll pay off at all, but that remains to be seen later on in the race. But lap 15, so well and truly over the halfway point of this race, but and we've got 11 laps to go here. Look a bit further back, Dynamite is building an advantage over Inexaction and Disappointed, so it's very possible that these two here are now battling it out for the minor positions here. Just haven't quite got strategy right. As Disappointed goes across the grass into S's. As these two go side by side through these corners, I don't think I've ever seen this happen before, and it looks like Disappointed's going to get the advantage here. But of course, nice slipstream from Inexaction down Conrod Straight will definitely give him the advantage, but these two have been fighting all race and it's probably been to their detriment, as a guy like Mad Mullock is now coming up to them on soft tyres. So Inexaction makes a late break, but he's just run wide there, couldn't pull it up in time, and it's a Disappointed who's moved into third place, and he's got Mad Mullock right on his tail. The grippier tyres from Mad Mullock, he's certainly looking to use them to his advantage, get himself into position 3 in this race. Could possibly be second as well, depending on how Wazadon goes in this final stint. But we're now under 10 laps to go in this race. If you're watching along, like to see your predictions. Who you think might come out on top? Can Wazadon make it to the end? Can he pull out enough of an advantage to maybe make that second pit stop and come out in the lead? It doesn't look likely at this stage, but who knows? Or is someone like Dynamite going to come through from towards the back of the field and take out this race victory? And how do you think the battle will go between Wiseacre and Wazadon for the championship? Who do you think's going to come out on top on this one? Let us know in the comments what you think, who your pick is. As Mad Mullock's moved ahead of Disappointed here into the top 3 spots, and it looks like Disappointed and Inexaction find each other again, and they're going to go to battle just like they have all race long. Of course, another one to look out for here is SDRT Madster. He's sitting in 6th place on the soft tyres at the moment. Disappointed continuing to hold off Inexaction. The Intercontinental Esports Racing driver just holding off his rival in the Caviar Racing Team, Toyota 86. But these two certainly providing most of the action here tonight. As Inexaction pulls out the draft again, tries to go around the outside. Will he have enough to hold on here? I feel like Disappointed's got the high ground again. Just comes out front. Bit of a brush with the wall though, so might prove costly. Let's have a bit of a look here. Wiseacre still 20 seconds back. I'd like to think that he could still probably be a chance of this championship. I don't think that Wazadon quite has enough to build an advantage and come out in front. I do believe that Wazadon hasn't used the medium tyres yet, so I'm not sure if that still is a requirement. I believe that they're saying mediums and softs needs to be used in this 25 lap segment of this race. So it might be a quick splash and dash at the end and a set of medium tyres that sees Wazadon to the end of this race. He's out to a 6.5 second lead, so he's certainly pushing on, knows he needs to create that gap to come back out of this in front. Dynamite certainly gone strong here. Looking like he could be a likely winner of this race. But Mad Malik, he's putting in some very fast lap times here. He's gaining up to Dynamite as well, so he could definitely put in a challenge for this win. In fact, I'd say based on the lap times between the two, I'd say that maybe Mad Malik has the advantage here in this one. So at the moment it's a Shadon Racing Team driver of Wazadon leading the way, but then we've got two Caviar Racing drivers of Dynamite 296 and Mad Malik. They round out the final two podium positions at this point. So Mad Malik's got the draft here, uses that slipstream perfectly, breezes past Dynamite down the straight. Looks like he'll take over second place in this race. Very good move there from Mad Malik. Set that up very well. It's an 8-second gap now between himself and Wazadon. Wazadon really stretching that advantage out at this point, but I think now that Mad Malik's gotten ahead, I think he's going to start to close that gap into Wazadon, and I think Mad Malik just has that pace advantage, and I think he's on a favourable strategy here. So we look at SDRT Madster, who's on the charge at the moment. Couple of slower laps. Looks like he's had to get through the two cars of Inex section and disappointed. Who continue to battle out at Inex section is now in front of Disappointed though. And of course we've got Hyperdrift HKS, who's just a little bit further behind. All three of these cars are on the medium tyres, along with SDRT Wiseacre. Who's driving a bit of a lonesome race back in 8th place. Then a bit further back we've got Dan 08 in the sister Red Bull Shadon Racing Team car. And of course Renegade rounding out top 10. Then you got Chef Toddy in 11th. Isa Benjo in 12th. And SLM the Kazi one rounding out the field in 13th place. Nearly about to go a lap down on Wazadon here. Wazadon pushing the limits of this car out onto the grass coming out of the chase. So 6 laps remaining in this one. Wazadon giving it his absolute all, trying to build that advantage, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think he's going to have to make a pit stop in this one. I think Mad Malik's looking the goods here. He's certainly closing that gap into Wazadon. And I think he's got plenty of fuel in reserve in comparison. Yes, he's got over a quarter of a tank left compared to Wazadon. Wazadon's only got a quarter of a tank left, but Mad Malik's about the halfway point. With about 6 laps left in this one, so he's definitely looking very strong here. But he's got Dynamite right behind, so this could be the battle for the win here, I reckon. And Dynamite, I did expect Mad Malik to just drive away from him, but Dynamite certainly kept pace with him through here. So a good run down through the S's and the dipper, down to Forest Elbow for Dynamite. Seen him get well and truly into that draft with Mad Malik. Heading down the straight here. Will he make a move on him? Looks like he's going to settle in behind, maybe save it a bit for later in the race. And there goes Wazadon. Wazadon's dived into the pits. He's going to make his second pit stop, so this could be an interesting battle. Let's see where he comes out in comparison to Wiseacre. So they actually come out side by side, the two championship contenders. At this stage it's Wiseacre who's come out in front, but Wazadon hot on the tail. He knows he's going to have to make a move here if he's any chance of claiming the championship. He can't settle in behind Wiseacre, because that'll just mean Wiseacre gains more points again and takes the championship off of him. But it looks like Wiseacre's settled in, starting to build a gap here. It's 5 laps to go on this one. And at this stage it looks like SDRT Wiseacre's going to take out the C-Sim Rigs 1 Make Series for the Toyota 86 racing cars. But Wazadon certainly isn't giving up here. He's right on the tail as he heads over the top of the mountain. Certainly putting as much pressure as possible onto Wiseacre. Maybe some slightly fresher tyres, giving him the advantage here. Sets himself up for a nice exit out of Forest Elbow. Gets himself alongside Wiseacre here. So he gets a move done here, but is Wiseacre going to come back with a slipstream battle of his own? There goes Wiseacre with a move down the inside. There's contact between the two. That pushes Wazadon right off the track. Wazadon comes out in front. Looks like this battle's going to resume here very shortly. But it's safe to say that I think Wazadon's going to be pushing on, trying to aim the catch up to Hyperdrift HKS, but it's going to be a Big ask for him. 7 seconds a gap, 4 laps to go. Going to be a massive effort from them to take the lead as we head back to the front, and it's Mad Mullock still leading the way over Dynamite 296. 0.3 of a second a gap. Dynamite 296 just shadowing every move from Mad Mullock in these closing stages. We did see Mad Mullock cruise up the Dynamite, make that overtake, take the lead. And I think many would have expected that Mad Mullock would drive away with this. Was certainly gaining in on Wazadon before that pit stop. But it was actually Dynamite who's actually held his own here. Very much keeping within touching distance of Mad Mullock. And this race is certainly not over by any means. Dynamite closes into the back of Mad Mullock, coming through the chase. Both cars head under the Armorall Bridge and towards Murray's Corner. They'll come across the line. 3 laps remaining as they cross the line here in the C Sim Rigs 1 Make Series, the Bottle Bathurst 300. Mad Mullock certainly holding strong here, keeping Dynamite 296 very much at bay. Just building a little bit of an advantage up Mountain Straight. Taking that advantage out to 0.6 of a second, but of course we know how strong Dynamite is heading down the mountain, so that advantage is definitely going to be needed. So we have another quick look back. The gap between Hyperdrift HKS and Wazadon is now 5.4 seconds. The only issue here is that Wazadon is dragging Wiseacre with him, so any move that Wazadon makes to jump up the order could see Wiseacre follow along as well. So Wiseacre's definitely doing the right thing here for his championship chances, keeping in touch with Wazadon. Very much minimising the damage done to his championship tally. At this point, I think it's a 16-point gap between 7th and 8th. As Wiseacre makes a move there, gets a bit sideways, that's going to prove costly there. That might just give Wazadon a little bit of breathing space down Conrod Straight. Although Wiseacre does have the bit of a draft to help him out there, but gap's down to 4 seconds. So 4.5 seconds between Hyperdrift HKS and Wazadon. Wazadon really needs to get up to Hyperdrift and get Hyperdrift between himself and Wiseacre if he's going to be any chance of taking the championship. But these two title rivals, they are going at each other. Plenty of contact between the two. You would not know that they're teammates as well. 2 laps to go. It looks like Wiseacre's got the move down the inside. Wazadon will be desperate to get back in front. Keep any hopes of a championship still alive. But at this rate it is advantage to Wazadon. Well, not Wazadon, Wiseacre, sorry. There's Wazadon across the grass trying to find a way past Wiseacre here. Tries to move around the outside, it's not going to come off, they've made contact. Wazadon is in the wall and Dan 08 is going to move ahead, so that's going to give the advantage to Wiseacre here, but looks like what's happening here. I think Wiseacre's letting up a bit. Wow, this is some crazy fighting here. There's contact between a whole bunch of them. Wiseacre's made contact with Dano and Wazadon through there. They've all bounced into the wall with each other. At the moment, Wazadon got that second gap over Wiseacre. But I think now, thanks to all that action in the last half a lap, it's going to be too little for... well, too much of a gap to bridge towards Hyperdrift HKS, so... unless Dano 8 pulls a very rebellious move and gets himself ahead of Wiseacre, you're very much looking at Wiseacre being the champion of the C-Sim Rigs One Make Racing Series. As we now head towards the final lap of this race, the leaders have already started their final lap. Mad Mullock, 0.8 of a second clear of Dynamite 296, looking very much in control of this race. Has pulled a master stroke here, starting the race on the medium tyres. Getting out to about lap 12-13 before making his pit stop. And then very much going on the attack on the soft tyres. Early leaders in section and disappointed. Going the opposite way in strategies, it's seen them drift down the order to 4th and 5th. Probably the battles that they had with each other at the start of the race proved very costly to them. It was very much a hindrance to each other. As it looks like Benjo certainly not getting out the way quick enough. As Mad Mullock tries to get as much of a gap between himself and Dynamite, heading down Conrod Straight for the final time. It looks like Mad Mullock has enough fuel in the tank. Certainly a bit touch and go, but I think he's got enough as he heads out to chase for the final time under the Amaral Bridge and into Murray's Corner. Gets a good exit. It's going to be Mad Mullock. Mad Mullock takes the win in the Waterloo Bathurst 300 in the C-Sim Rigs One Make Series. Dynamite 296 crossing line in second. SDRT Madster crossing the line in third. Inex section fourth, and Disappointed rounding out top 5. Hyperdrift HKS crossing the line in 6. Wazadon is going to cross the line in 7th here. Don't quite think it's going to be enough here as SDRT Wiseacre crosses the line in 8th. Dano crosses the line in 9th. So SDRT Wiseacre will be your champion in the C-Sim Rigs One Make Series. Congratulations SDRT Wiseacre, who will hang on by probably the barest of margins. One more position that he lost to possibly Dano, and it would have seen him lose that title to Wazadon, but he's just held on to take it out. Renegade 4701 crossing the line around out top 10. Then looks like we're waiting on Chef Toddy, who will be the last car to cross the line. And then of course we've got Isa Benjo, who went a lap down on that final lap. And then SLM Kazi 1, who will be rounding out the field in 13th. But again, congratulations to Mad Mullock, who takes out the win in the Bottle Bathurst 300. And then of course our series champion SDRT Wiseacre. He's been dominant all year. 8 race wins, 9 podiums. Didn't quite have the result he wanted to in this one, but he still comes out as series champion. As we have a quick look back at the results, Mad Mullock takes a win by just a bit over a second over Dynamite 296. SDRT Madster 7 seconds back in third, rounding out the podium. Inexsection in 4th place, with Disappointed just behind him, rounding out the top 5. Hyperdrift HKS in 6th, about 25 seconds back, and then SDRT Wazadon sitting in 7th. SDRT Wiseacre, our series champion, 1 spot behind, all he needed to do to take that title, with Dano just behind him as well. Very close at the end there. I'm not sure, maybe there was a bit of team orders at the end. And then Renegade rounding out top 10. Then Chef Toddy, ISR Benjo, and then SLM the Kazi won. The last 2 cars, both a lap down in this race. And then of course SDRT Madster, fastest lap of the race on lap 15 with a 2 minute 11.711. So there you have it. The C-Sim Rigs Bottle Bathurst 300 run and won. And a big congratulations to Mad Mullock. Perfect strategy there in that race. And did exactly what he needed to take the win. Executed it perfectly. And definitely kept Dynamite 296 at bay. And then of course a massive congratulations to SDRT Wiseacre, who holds on to take the series championship in the C-Sim Rigs One Make Toyota 86 Racing Series. So just like to say a big thank you for everyone who joined in tonight, followed along with the stream. No, we had our issues with the racing along the way, but I think the team sorted out as best as they possibly could and managed to get a race in the end. So on behalf of myself, It's Racing, and of course our guest commentator, who sadly had to leave us to go off to his own racing commitments, and Spud P666, who joined us at the start. I'd like to say thank you for joining in with us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you